Welcome back to Nick Linus Comic Corner, classic, non-classic. This is episode number 2566 and double number 2460. Here first reviewing basically issues 82 to 111 and annuals 2 and 3. But there's actually 3 issues I'm skipping. 92, 93, 95. 92 and 95 I'm skipping because I reviewed that already in the Hawkeye Epic Collection. 93 because I read it in Wear by Night. So we first start with 82 to 86, which I thought these issues were collected in the Black Widow Epic Collection, but they weren't. 82 to 85 is a 4-parter involving Spider-Man team with the Black Widow, Shang-Chi, Nick Fury. It's all about basically Black Widow losing her memories. And this looks like it's a follow-up issue 98, which also has Black Widow as well. Now, and it's a very interesting story for what it is. Yeah. And I really love this 4-parter. It's excellent. And the fact that, oh, you think Nick Fury's a bad guy? Not really, no. And the villains are Silver Samurai, Viper, and Boomerang. And here's the thing. The last time these 3 characters, in case of Boomerang, he was last seen in this very... Let's see. No, that's not it. In the case of Silver Samurai, his last appearance was actually issue 80... Well, actually, no, that's not correct there. What? What the heck? Okay, so... Yeah, they apparently screwed up. Someone screwed up something here. So, in the case of Silver Samurai, his previous appearance was back in March of 74, where surrounding teams with not so ready primetime players. So it's been a little while. After this 4-parter, he later pops up in 2 issues of Spider-Woman. Yep. It's weird if a character first showed up in the issue of Daredevil, issue 111. But if you think, okay, what about Boomerang? In the case of Boomerang, his previous appearance part of this very issue was actually in Defender 64. Yep, that was his previous appearance. But Viper... Viper's previous appearance for this very before this story was actually in Captain America 182. But really, this is a really fun story. Chris Campbell does an excellent job with the writing here and Sal Bushman the artwork. But in the case of the 2 characters who appear in the finale of this arc, of course, there are Sam, like I mentioned, next appears in Spider-Man 42. Viper next appears in The Beast number... Actually, no, that's not correct. Let's see, her next appearance after this arc wraps up is actually in Marvel 2166. That's her next appearance. Yep. And then pretty much this 4-parter wraps up. And then 86 he teams up with the Guardians of the Galaxy. But not the 2008 version. Oh no, the original version. One that Arnold Drake created. This also is, sadly, Chris Claremont's, well, one of his last issues he does to the book. He does do 3 other issues of the book and 1 more annual, and that's it. So we're getting, like, pretty much almost done with his run for the book. Mostly put, it's basically starting team with the Guardians of the Galaxy on the Deterrent Research Corporation. Yep, and then issue 87 teams the Black Panther take on Raxxon. And 88 teams the Invisible Girl take on Hole in the Wall Gang. Really interesting issue, also involving Jean DeWolf and Franklin Richards. Now, Jean DeWolf, she was last seen back in issue 72 of this very series. And her next appearance would be in Amazing number 226. The Invisible Girl was actually receiving we'll talk about in a minute. And her next appearance would be in Fantastic Four 204. Yep. Now, 88 would be... Now, 87, if you're curious about 87, 87 is written by Stephen Grant with the late Gene Colan, the artwork. 89 would be technically in the way Chris Clements' penultimate issue he does the book, where he had starting with Nightcrawler. Yeah, Nightcrawler's introduction was quite interesting, where, yeah, Amanda stopped looking for him, and all of a sudden, oh, he's like, oh, hi, gorgeous, and he gives her a smooch. He's like, Kurt! The thing is, Curtis had a thing for this woman for years. Yeah, Amanda Sefton, who's sort of his adopted sister. Yeah, she's had a thing for him for a long time. Actually, he's a thing for her for a long time. And, like, her previous appearance prior to this team-up issue was actually in X-Men 124. Her next appearance would be in the 4th annual for the book. Yes. But her real name is Desmond Cedritos. And I didn't be a liar of stuff, but here's the thing. Her most recent appearance was actually in Nightcrawler number 10, where she was a recurring character in that book for Nightcrawler. Nightcrawler herself previously appeared in the X-Men book. Now, most of the team was to take on Arcade, Miss Locky, Cutthroat, and Armageddon. Now, as for 90, this is the first issue without. This also is for a team with, of course, Beast. And, of course, you have Kissy Isherwood, who's a character associated with Beast. Actually, it's love interest of Peter Parker, which doesn't really go anywhere. No, not really. It's like she existed barely for this book, and then, like, after issue 90, she's never seen again until Year of the Marvels Infinite Comic. A book that came out in 2016. But this, you can think of it as, like, a very brief time this woman was around in comics. Cassie, and her real name is Priscilla Isherwood. He has most of a Spartan team with the Beast take on Killer Strike and the Molder Man, who was a character of Rampaging Hulk, who debuted, I believe, in the same issue as Killer Strike. I think so. Actually, I think it was like very, very next issue. I'll get to the annual soon, but I'll talk about the main issues first. 91 teams with the Ghost Rider taking on Moondark, an old regular Ghost Rider villain who last appeared in Marvel Team Up number 12, which at this point had been 7 years since his previous appearance. His next appearance will be in Ghost Rider 56, which I discussed that issue already. Now, 92 and 93 I mentioned, skipping those. Ghost Rider 94. 94 team with Shroud take on Dense and Macabre. His magic stuff. Yeah, just a continuation of the previous issue, which is how featuring him. His experience to be in Spider-Man 50, the final issue of that run. Oh, by the way, at this point we're already in the 1980s. 95 mentioned, skipping that one. 96 teams up with Howard the Duck take on Status Quo, and it's an Alan Kupperberg issue. He writes it. The Shroud issues are by Stephen Graham, Mike Zeck on the artwork. 97 has Spartan team up. Actually, it's Hulk team with Spider-Woman take on W. Lee Benway. Yeah, it's actually one of the last issues not to feature Spider-Man in the book. In the case 98 is Spartan team with the Black Widow once again, which is sort of a follow-up to their previous appearance where they take on the Owl. It's just like a regular team issue. Now, who does this one? Marvel and Roger McKenzie. Issue 99 is where Spartan teams with Machine Man, and a ton of Thug, which I believe was writing the Machine Man ongoing series at this point. Machine Man previously appeared in an anime I'll talk about soon. They'll take on Baron Brimstone and the Sandman. Baron Brimstone last appeared in Machine Man 16. And who does 99? 99 is done by, like I mentioned on Hucka, but 100 is the final issue of the series done by Chris Claremont. Now, the opening story, there's actually about 2 stories, but the opening story is by Chris Claremont and Frank Miller, who does arc 2. 100 is Spider-Man and Fantastic Four teaming up. And also in this issue is noteworthy for an actual historical landmark for this one. Well, not really a big one per se. It's the debut of New Mutant character member Karma. Yep, this is her debut, making her the second X-Men recurring character making her debut in this book. First it was Arcade, then it was Karma. Yeah, this is her debut, and then mostly it deals with some Vietnamese stuff. This is something we're referencing for years to come, and Chris Claremont created this character. The backup story is mostly put just Storm to the Black Panther first time. Yep. Taking on some one-shot villain. And then, what about the main issues? Well, 101 doesn't actually skip because I discussed that in a Defenders Epic collection. Oop. As for 102, 102 is Spider-Man team with Doc Samson to take on the Rhino. And then you have 103 is Spider-Man team with a Scott Lang Ant-Man take on Taskmaster. And by the way, in this issue they reference his previous appearance, which was in, I think it was Avengers 185, 186. Yep. In issue 104, Hulk teams up with Kazar to take on frickin' MODOK. And we're already 981 at this point. Yep. And 105, Hulk teamed up with Power Man Iron Fist to take on, well, a couple one-shot villains. Oh, by the way, there's also backstory now. Okay, before I continue here, who is the writer at this point in time? Well, in the case of 102, it's Mike W. Burr. In 103, David Cellini. 103, 104, Roger McKenzie. There's actually two stories in issue 105. The opening story is on Mike W. Burr, with Constantine on the artwork, and of course, the backup story. The backup story is mostly put Heroes for Hire, team with Dario the Dragon. Yep. Well, it's a really interesting story. What it is, it's most of them just deal with some stuff here. In 106, basically, starting teams to Captain America take on the frickin' Scorpion. And that issue was done by Tom DeFalco. And then issue 107, starting team with the Savage She-Hulk. Yes, the Savage She-Hulk. To take on Mankiller, who apparently dies this year. Her previous appearance was in issue 127, Iron Man. Her next appearance after this apparent death would actually be in Thunderbolts number 3. At least 16 years later. And for discuss at a later point, but yeah, I'm only discussing is 2 and 3 here. In 108, it's my team with the Paladin to take on Thermal, the Thermonic Man. Also known as a Street Stalker. Yeah, taking a serial killer who appears in this issue here. Ooh, excuse me. Who after this also appears in 109, next appears in Quasar. Though in 109 teams with Dazzler. But it's a great two-parter. I love it. The book is done by Tom DeFalco at this point in time. 110 is done by David Lee. He's on a team with Iron Man taking on Magma in his debut appearance. And his next appearance will be in Web of Summer 17. And finally, let's discuss here 111 is on our team so with Devil Slayer and Defenders take on like a cult. And it's on Jane DeMatteis. Yep. But what about the annuals per se? Well, annual number 2, which is the last annual that Chris Claremont ever wrote. It's Spider-Man team with the Hulk to take on Darkstar, Crimson Atom, and Vanguard. Yeah, some Iron Man characters. Really cool stuff here. This is actually, well, like I mentioned, Chris Claremont's final annual he does in Sal Bushman on the artwork with Alan Kupperberg. Now, annual number 3 is the team between Hulk and Power Man Fist and Machine Man. And this great 4-way annual done by Roger Stern and Herb Chapin. And that's it. Yeah, really fun stuff here. I love the issues of Marvel Team Up. I'm going to give these issues roughly a 10 out of 10. And final thoughts of Chris Claremont's run, he had an excellent run for the book. Now, for some reason afterwards, it seems like after he left, it seems as though once he left, it's like, oh, let's not have regular random, let's have recurring raiders as 1-2 issues here and there. Also, this was, as for Hulk, Hulk headline issues, 105 was actually last issue he headlined. He only headlined 97, 104, 105 in the third annual. Yeah, but this book would have more writers even afterwards. Like, who would replace him? Well, they could went to a very different writer. Jane DeMatteis basically was most of the regular writer once Chris Claremont basically fully left the book with issue 100. Like, he took over fully with issue 111. Yep. But, great set of issues. Next up we have is Spider-Woman The Origin, written by Brian Michael Bendis and Brian Reed, artwork by the Luna Brothers. Yep. This 5-issue miniseries. Yes, 5 issues, which people count this as part of the numbering for Spider-Woman. When basically she hit 100. Mostly put in this miniseries, it is mostly put a modern retelling of her origin story told in Marvel Spotlight number 32. It's more expanded upon it, where it features Spider-Woman, of course, taking Nick Fury, obviously, and a lot like her day appearance. This also involves basically her parents get involved with the High Evolutionary, which High Evolutionary has always been technically involved, always in Spider-Woman's backstory. But I'm curious, though, that are they going to have this character involved with her in live action? Despite the fact he's featured already in Guardians of the Galaxy, maybe it was a flashback, but he has to be involved because High Evolutionary, he's usually picked as some guy who works with, usually the way he's written here and some books featuring her backstory, he's a scientist who works with Jonathan Drew. He is Jessica Drew's father. And throughout this book, basically, she's working with Hydra, wearing her original Spider-Man costume, and like with the whole full head mask before she ripped out, put her hair in. And by the way, first half of this miniseries, she's blonde because some people have mistakenly probably assumed that Jessica Drew has been basically a raven hair woman since like her debut. Nope. That happened with issue like 2 or 3 of her ongoing series. She actually dyes her hair black, and her hair is stuck like that for years. Yeah, she's always dyed her. She dyed her hair once and never turned back. Like at one point, she briefly she actually gets convinced to basically join Shield by Nick Fury because she tells them like, yeah, Hydra is a bunch of liars, and like she thinks, oh, you're lying because Hydra was manipulating her for years, and then she basically turns against them. And a lot of the story here, like if you're familiar with Jessica Drew's history, it's like not much is all to hear the backstory, but it's a really cool mini-series. Yes, but it's an absolute fantastic gem by Michael Bendis. Yep, and this will be the first like 2-book sales for her. Excuse me. The other was an attempt to do an ongoing series. We'll have to discuss later on, but I'm gonna give Spider-Man Origin roughly a 10 out of 10 because this book was amazing. I loved it. Yep. Now, chronologically, this kind of leads into maybe like her ongoing series in the 70s, but damn good book. Also, one thing you should know about this book, there's no cell phones. Despite the fact this came out in like 2005. Yeah, they released this book like not long after she was brought back into New Avengers. Yep, but yeah, that's particularly a particular view. Next up, more of Strongest Exes Reincarnated in the World. Okay, next view. Bye.